talking today to Annie Lopes, who is Jozi Hub's community manager. Annie, how did Jozi Hub come to be set up?
Jozi Hub really came about because of a need that was established for a hub like this, particularly in this particular area of Johannesburg, yeah, it really came out of a need.
Okay,
it was established.
So who has funded Jozi Hub?
It is funded by Google for Entrepreneurs. Omidia Network was also on board from the beginning. In terms of specific streams, I know that Indigo Trusts funds the governance and transparency stream, so there's specific activities in line with that we have going. IS Labs, which is Internet Solutions Labs, they fund the bandwidth for the space. We also have partners like Venture Solutions who are helping us implement or set up the space. And then, of course, the Preekelt Foundation, Gustav Preekelt being one of the co-founders of the space.
So how many members do you have, and what different relationships do they have with the Hub?
Well, we have about 2,100 virtual members. So, or let me put it this way, we have 2,100 members in total. So these would be people who subscribe to receive our newsletter, they attend our events, as well as other activities and programs in the space. But in terms of people that physically use the space on a daily basis, we have about 10 to 15 people.
And give me a couple of examples of people who use the space who are doing interesting things.
There is Limu, for example, which is, I think it's a Swahili word meaning learning. They're working on a very interesting portal for distance learning, but for school-going pupils.
High school.
That's correct. We also have companies, for instance, that are already established, like BlackBerry, who come in on a weekly basis to give technical advice and workshops specifically on the BlackBerry platform. There's Virtual Limitless as well that comes in and gives advice sessions just on the viability of specific ideas budding developers have. So it's a fantastic gesture. There's also a very interesting company that's working on is it peer-to-peer sort of lending system, as it were. So they'll be running the whole back end to that, which I think is a pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting product, as it were.
And you were also talking about a company that does electric bicycles.
Oh yes, that's Psychology. They are actually based downstairs, so they've got a little shop called Window downstairs. It's just a display shop, but in terms of an office to actually operate from, they're based at Jozi Hub, at the physical business space solution that we offer for your entrepreneurs. And we're embarking on a very interesting green mobility project where they've offered 3 bicycles to Jozi Hub, electric bicycles, and we'll sort of be using that as just a,
testing them.
Yeah, testing them, and then I think it will work quite well as a concierge type of bicycle for the space.
And Jozi Hub is sitting in a sort of urban regeneration project, a complex called 44 Stanley Centre. Yes. Describe that to somebody who might not have been there.
Well, 44 Stanley is on 44 Stanley Avenue in Mill Park, Johannesburg, and for us it was really sort of a strategic decision to move to the space, not only because we've got the 2 adjacent universities like Wits as well as University of Johannesburg, but they're also research institutions. We are specifically based on the 2nd floor of the 44 Stanley Centre, and below us we've got fantastic coffee shops, because coffee and tech go hand in hand, and it works out quite well for our community. And then there are also fantastic restaurants such as the famous Salvation Cafe, and also interesting clothing shops. So it's really almost a creative hub in Mill Park, Johannesburg. So it was definitely a strategic decision for us to move to this space.
And lastly, you were mentioning that one of the universities is opening in Braamfontein, a tech centre. Tell me just a little bit about that.
That's the Tsimologang precinct. It's being driven by Professor Barry Dwalotsky from the WITS Johannesburg Centre for Software Engineering. So as an extension to this, they've bought, my understanding of it is they've bought a couple of buildings on Jutta Street in Braamfontein, and the idea is really to turn these, or to turn the area into a technology hub. And we certainly look forward to working in collaboration with them towards just serious revolution in the technology space. And the whole initiative sort of talks to tech in Braam as well, which is an effort. Yeah, which is our focus, an effort to really turn this part of Johannesburg into pseudo Silicon Valley, really, which is long overdue in Johannesburg, I think.